Alright boys, it is officially Aquarius season, so if you are new to my channel, my name is Lorraine and I love going over everything astrology, especially sun-moon combinations. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Aquarius Sun with Taurus Moon. So I'm going to start off the video by talking about what a typical Aquarius sun is like, and then I will get into the moon placement and talk about how the moon probably affects certain aspects of the sun sign. So if there's certain parts of my Aquarius sun description that don't quite fit or don't really resonate with you, then hang on until you hear my description of your moon sign and how they interact with each other, and then it will probably tie together quite nicely and make a lot of sense. Now, before I get started, I want to let you know that once a month I'm giving away a free astrology birth chart reading. So if you want to know how you can enter into this draw and potentially get a free reading from myself, which would cover more than just your sun and moon sign like in this video, then stay tuned till the end and I'll let you know how to enter. But now let's dive into Aquarius Sun. So Aquarius Suns are very easygoing, patient, unique, and intellectual. They're definitely the most opinionated air sign. Libra and Gemini, they do like learning about information and having ideas, but I find that they tend to kind of be pretty airy about how much they stick to those opinions. Aquarius is a lot more opinionated, and they are a lot less likely to bend to other people's opinions and other people's like pressure to agree with them. Aquarius is far more likely to be opinionated and refuse to conform to what other people think. Because a lot of the time when you're opinionated, you're going to have some pushback or conflict from other people that don't agree with you. And I find that Gemini and Libra are the two air signs that are far more likely to kind of cave to some pressure or just understand both sides or just want to get along. Aquarius is a little less like that. They're far more likely to stand firm in their opinions. The nice thing about Aquarius though is they tend to, like, despite their strong opinions, they tend to not be very judgmental of others for their differing views. In fact, I find Aquarius can have quite a bit of respect for other people's viewpoints if they, aren't aggressive or mean about it. Basically, if two people are able to just have differing viewpoints and actually have a real conversation, and if Aquarius is able to understand like how people got to that understanding or that belief or that opinion, they're pretty likely to kind of understand and not be super judgmental about it. They don't easily get offended. Aquarius is not an emotional placement, and they're quite objective, and so they tend to have kind of a live and let live mentality. So the only time an Aquarius is not those things, where they're the time that an Aquarius is judgmental and does not have a live and let live mentality, is if they feel like the other person, or if someone is infringing on either their freedom or someone else's freedom in some way, or has an opinion that is potentially harmful or something like that. So Aquarius is very concerned about freedom and individuality. And so if someone has an opinion that's, say, very narrow-minded, or it kind of infringes on people's ability to be an individual and a free-thinking individual, then that's when Aquarius can be kind of judgmental and stick up for people. They love to, Aquarius is a very rebellious placement, and they love to stand up for other people, and they love to stand up for causes. So you'll probably tend to see, like, if Aquarius is standing up for some kind of cause where they want to create change of some kind, it usually has to do with freedom and individuality and kind of unity. They want people to be able to stand up for like this this unity and this collective ideal of some kind. And that's kind of what you see happening lately with what's going on with Wall Street bets on the stock market. Saturn and Jupiter entered into Aquarius. First we had the Great Conjunction, and now they're both transiting through Aquarius throughout this year. And I had said in one of my transit videos that I think we're going to start see some kind of uprising and rebellion when it comes to freedom and wanting people to have like their collective freedoms, and people kind of being more united and banding together to create some sort of freedom when it comes to authority, government, work, finances, that sort of thing. And so we're starting to see that, and that's just pinnacle Aquarius, is rebelling to create some sort of change in the direction of freedom and standing for a collective cause. So Aquarius is also known for being quite aloof, that comes from being very independent and just wanting their own individuality and freedom. So they can come across across quite aloof. They're just not a very emotional placement. They don't get easily worked up. But despite that, they do enjoy relationships with like of all kinds, romantic, friendship, otherwise. They enjoy getting to know lots of people, and they enjoy connecting with people, and they can be a very reliable and faithful friend as long as that person doesn't infringe on their independence and their freedom. So it can come across to other people as them being very cold when they have this relationship with a person, whether it's a friendship or romantic or a family, a member of some kind. They can have what feels like a very close relationship. They get along really well, and the Aquarius Sun is really easy to get along with. You know, they're the kind of people you can just hang out in their company and in their presence, and you don't really have to try super hard, right? They're not the kind of people that you have to like plan some big thing to do with them. Like, they're the people that you could just like sit in silence with and actually enjoy their company. And you could do this if it has been like a year since you've seen them. You know, Aquarius Suns don't need a lot of attention. They don't need to be in constant contact. But you can pick up where you left off even if it's been a long time since you've seen them. Now, the where Aquarius comes across as very cold and detached is because their individuality and their freedom is the most important thing to them. And so they can have a pretty good relationship with someone. Like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be romantic. So they can have this relationship with a person and seem quite close and get along really well. As soon as that person, though, is infringing on their independence and freedom, that is when Aquarius is able to drop them like a hot sack of potatoes and cut them off, essentially. So that's where to other people that seems very cold and, oh, like, how could you do that if, like, you know, we're close friends or we're dating or whatever it is. As soon as an Aquarius feels trapped, they are gone. And so that's just how they operate, because for them, the number one most important thing to them is their individuality and their independence and their freedom. And so as soon as you are going for that, they are out. And this can depend on the moon placement, which we will get to. Now, lastly about Aquarius Sun is they, like I mentioned, are so concerned with being an individual and being unique. And sometimes I feel like the Aquarius puts like so much pressure on themselves to be unique and intellectual and different. You know, they're the kind of people that are into like conspiracy theories and alien life and just a lot of cool stuff, you know. But sometimes they can be so concerned about being unique and being different and going against social norms that sometimes they just do it for the sake of being different or the sake of being unique. Not all of them, but some do. It's just that's so important to them that like it's almost as if sometimes I think Aquarius's self-worth is attached to how unique they are and how you know, just how special they are compared to other people. I think Aquarius's biggest fear would be being average or being mediocre. So sometimes I feel like they put too much pressure on themselves, or they're so concerned with being unique and being different that sometimes they do it just for the sake of being unique and different, even if that's not truly who they are or what they're interested in or want to do. Now, before I get started on the moon sign, I just wanted to let you know about the Kickstarter campaign that I have officially launched. At the time I'm recording this is how much I have raised already, and I would really appreciate if you would check it out if you enjoy the content that I'm making. This Kickstarter campaign will be helping fund the content that I'm making for this YouTube channel, like the sun-moon combinations, and it will also help fund the making and printing of this beautiful tarot deck. So I will leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. In the meantime, let's get back to today's video. So now we get to Taurus Moon. Taurus and Aquarius are actually square each other, so it can be a bit of a difficult pairing. Square is probably the worst aspect of all the aspects, in that it's the most challenging in my opinion. I think especially when it's your sun and moon, it can be quite challenging, but it makes you a stronger person because you're kind of forced to work on it and overcome the push and pull and just the headbutting that these placements have with each other. And so whenever you have like challenging placements. It really just means you've got to work a little harder in order to see a benefit, but then that makes you a stronger person and you're able to enjoy all really the positives of both of the placement. So a Taurus moon is very chill. They need stability, security, and routine. They're very emotionally stable. They're very practical and very patient, but they're very stubborn. So a lot of these are very different from Aquarius in the sense that, like, Taurus is the kind of person that wants to stay home, eat good food. They're pretty low maintenance, like as long as they have like everyday sensual pleasures and they're not struggling to make ends meet, you know, they've got a roof over their heads, a warm bed to sleep in, they can have hot baths when they want to, they have someone to share the couch with while they watch TV and eat good food, they're happy. That's really like the main things that please Taurus moons. So it can be quite different from Aquarius because Aquarius likes freedom and change and standing up for causes, and they're not as motivated by like romance and sensual pleasures. So this person could probably have a difficult time when it comes to like wanting, you know, freedom and individuality and pursuing intellectual things and being really opinionated and things like that, versus being like, well, I've like just got off work, I really actually just want to sit on the couch and eat food. So I think the way this probably plays out is this person is probably, you know, enjoys Aquarius things, like they are a unique individual and they like learning about these intellectual things, maybe some conspiracy theories here and there, maybe learning about aliens, what have you, but their approach is maybe quite Taurusy. They either pursue it in a very practical way, or it's like they, you know, they go to work, they do their thing, and then when they come home, it's like sitting on the couch with a fuzzy blanket and eating good food while watching a documentary on this really cool topic that their Aquarius sun is really interested in. And the nice thing about Taurus is that they have a very practical approach to when they need to get things done. They have a lot of perseverance. Most earth signs are very good when it comes to doing things and getting things done and doing it in a very methodical, practical way, and Taurus is like that. Taurus just needs a little extra motivation. Taurus gets a reputation towards placements in general, get a reputation for being lazy. What it really is though is that Taurus is just, they believe in working smarter, not harder, and they're just very like picky about where they direct their energy. So they're not going to direct their energy into an effort into something when there's an easier way to go about it, right? So they're not just going to be like, okay, let's just do it this way and work really hard and work my butt off for very little reward. They're not that kind of person. They look at the risk and the reward and how much work it's going to take, and they try to find an easier way to do it. They want the maximum output, like the maximum results, with the least amount of input. So they just want to work smarter, not harder. And so they're not, some can be lazy, but for the most part, they actually just need a little extra motivation, and they just need to know that there's a way to go about it smarter and getting what they want without wasting energy or wasting time that they could spend relaxing and enjoying time with loved ones or just self-care. So Taurus moons are very sensual and romantic. Like I mentioned, they're the kind of ones that would sit on the couch with someone and, you know, watch TV, whatever it is. The thing with Taurus moons is they can actually be surprisingly possessive of their loved ones, and that's because their loved ones are part of their need for security and routine. So all of what I've said about Taurus, kind of they need extra motivation in order to make a change or pursue something. They need stability and routine and security. So because of this, it can hinder their development so in some ways, because they require a bigger push in order to take risks or make a change of some kind. And that could be kind of frustrating for the Aquarius sun, because if Aquarius has this like cause that they want to stand up for, or they're wanting to like be more of an individual and, you know, take advantage of the freedoms they have, meanwhile they've got their Taurus moon that's like tying them down. If Aquarius is able to, whatever their Aquarius sun wants, in terms of like being an individual and being unique, if that's maybe drawn to like the arts or just whatever goal they may have. If when they're pursuing that goal and when they've achieved that goal, it means that the Taurus Moon will have an even better secure routine that they love, then that could definitely be motivating for both of these placements. So then they would have a really great chance of achieving what they want. The Taurus Moon could actually be quite helpful when working on these projects because Taurus just has a very practical, methodical way about getting things done, and they're very smart about the way they go about it. So it gives a level of perseverance to Aquarius that they could use, and kind of helps them maybe slow down a little bit and just go about creating the changes that they want or pursuing the things that they want in a practical way that is achievable. So that is all I have planned for today's video. Thank you for watching all of the way through. As promised, I wanted to let you know how you could enter to win the free birth chart reading. So all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and then comment below the video letting me know that you have done so. When you've done those two things, both of those, then you will be entered to win a free birth chart reading from myself, and then I will announce the winner at the end of the month. I'll release a video on the last day of each month, and that's how you'll be able to watch to find out if you've won. So stay tuned for that, and good luck. And if you're feeling generous, you could give this video a like and potentially check out my Kickstarter campaign. That is all for now. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more. I hope to see you again. Take care.